Star Trek IV, the Chris Pine-led Star Trek franchise, which we all, me included, thought was dead despite everything that was being told. Apparently, Paramount is still very serious about it, and it is still up and running and in development. So saith the writer of the screenplay for it. Her name is Lindsay Anderson Beer. She wrote the original draft of the first screenplay. Now, she's now directing a film coming out called Pet Sematary Bloodline, which looks like a movie I am very excited to not watch. But she was asked recently whether this new Star Trek movie has been... I'm sorry, the last one was terrible. I didn't think the trailer for this one looked good.
You try to slip that in there like...
But... they were asking her, boy, so is that one that you worked on, is that dead? And she said this is coming from the folks that are coming soon. Asking her if it was still on. She says, it is still on the track, she said. I love that project. And it was another one that I had to hop off to go and direct this movie, talking about Pet Sematary Bloodline. And that was a hard thing to do, but I love everybody involved with that project. However, it's currently unclear if Beer had already left Star Trek 4 in order to shift her focus on directing Pet Sematary Bloodlines, or if her work on the project is temporarily on hold while Paramount continues its search for a new director. Because if you remember, WandaVision director Matt Shakman, I believe, was lined up to direct it. That guy's now doing a little film called Fantastic Four. At least so they say, so good on him. So they're looking for a new director. Look, we have a difference of opinion in this room.
Is there really?
I really like this particular Star Trek franchise. Number 2 was shaky. Well, number 2, even I admit that. Number 2 was shaky. I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be, but I thought it was shaky. But this is one of those, the first one, Rob, and you weren't around yet, but the first one was during my movie blog days and even to my early AMC days, is one that I shit on so much when they announced it was coming. It's going to be garbage. This is a dead franchise. That the people who follow this Star Trek franchise are literally, not figuratively, literally dying off. They're not generating new fans. This franchise is dead. Nobody cares about this movie. This movie's going to be awful. Then I went to go see that first one with Chris Pine. And while it is no Star Trek The Voyage Home, I really liked it. I had to eat my words. I liked it very, very much. I loved the cast. I loved freaking dude as Spock, the guy from
Zachary Quinto.
Yep. What's that? Yeah, him. I loved him. I loved him in Heroes. I thought Chris Pine did a wonderful job of being Captain Kirk without trying to do a William Shatner impersonation, and I thought that was key and important. Like some of the other characters could do that, but it was important that they not. The second one. I love the third one. It tanked financially, but that's the one Simon Pegg wrote. I really did quite enjoy that third one. And then, Rob, they were talking for a while that the idea for the fourth one was going to be Chris Hemsworth, who was in the first one, played George Kirk, Captain Kirk's dad, that they were going to do a father-son one. I think that one's kind of been brushed away. Then we heard things about maybe a Quentin Tarantino was going to do one, got kind of excited about that. That seems to be gone. Especially coming off the third one, which I thought was really good. And we covered this one they did a screening of this one at Comic-Con the year it came out, and we loved it. But I would love for this movie to come back. They seem to be on a little bit of a roll over at Paramount. They've had a lot of success with Strange New Worlds. Mixed success with, let's say, not Discovery. Or is it Discovery?
Discovery.
It is Discovery, right. I keep getting that confused.
It's coming back for that 5th season.
It's final season. For its final season. But more people watch that Below Decks show than I thought. I don't watch the Below Decks show.
Lower Decks.
Lower Decks, thank you. But like I said, I don't watch it. But I've been hearing, I don't think the trailers look good or anything like that. But I've been hearing from people, I think including you, that actually watched a little bit of it and said it was actually better than I thought it would be. So, hey, whatever. I'm looking forward to this. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. Signing your life away to a big wireless provider is kind of like being trapped on a roller coaster from hell. Sure, it looks like fun at first. They probably even threw in a free phone, but now you can't get off. Month after month of insane bills and unexpected thrills, like overages and surprise fees. If that sounds like your current big wireless plan, it's time to get off the ride with Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You guys know before before I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I am paying now on the standard big wireless plan, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped right to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Rob, you are super excited about this news, the potential of a Star Trek 4.
He's beaming.
What do you think about the comments here? And honestly, bottom
there
line,
you go.
do you actually think it's going to happen? That's the biggest question.
Well, what's interesting, just from a business standpoint, Star Trek 4 has had more people involved with it than The Flash did. I mean, there has been so many.
If not, then it's close.
There's been so many directors, and I think let's just talk about it from a business perspective. They looked at Star Trek to revive that franchise. Paramount wanted it to do Transformers numbers, maybe even get up to being $1 billion grossing
Which
franchise.
was unrealistic. It was
unrealistic.
Star
And another problem, I think, they spent too much money on these movies from the get-go. Star Trek 09, $175 million. That doesn't even include marketing. And they didn't make back even $500 million. It eked over, I think, 400-something million. So the returns on these movies, the return on investment has not been nearly as great as they hoped. Because they've spent Into Darkness cost more money, and then as you pointed out, Star Trek Beyond didn't make any money really, and I think that's the real problem. They're trying to work the numbers from these 3 previous movies, and the cast in these films. Look at Zoe Saldana. Look what happened in 2009 to her. Avatar.
Yeah.
And then she has the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and she's a leading lady. I mean, she did a great series on streaming. Lioness now. I mean, Taylor Sheridan. The cast has done very, very well since these movies came out, which has made them more expensive. I think the problem with Star Trek 4 is simply one of money. And I think all they need to do is figure out, and I'll tell you something else, John, they should, instead of looking at movies like Star Wars to emulate, look at a movie like Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is the kind of movie, and I'm not saying people are going to be like, what? I'm thinking a thoughtful movie. If you made a Star Trek movie about the creation of a doomsday weapon, there was an episode called The Doomsday Machine, and you made it intellectually stimulating, you could bring your costs down. You wouldn't have to
they did that a little bit
money.
with the Genesis device, right?
Something like, yeah, but I'm not saying emulate it. I'm just saying that they don't, the Star Trek 2 in 1982 dollars was like 11 million. And it made in the $70 million. That's a lot of money. If they were able to bring down the price of what these movies cost, they, I think, would have a very viable franchise.
Now, with everything that's been going on, though, do you think, it's been a while. It's been a while since that 3rd Star Trek film. The writer is saying that, yeah, it's still on track. They're still going to do it. Is it actually going to happen, do you think?
You know what? To tell you the truth, I don't think so, because there's so much Star Trek now. They've produced, you have Star Trek Picard just finished, you have Lower Decks, you have Discovery, you have Strange New Worlds. They're talking about doing the Michelle Yeoh Section 31 movie for streaming. They've got the Starfleet Academy series they want to make. So I think that there's an oversaturation of Star Trek product, and the Star Trek audience isn't getting bigger. So I don't think it's going to happen.
You pointed out a big factor, too, is that when you look at the cast of it, Chris Pine, who, by the way, I know I'm harping on this all the time. Guys, if you did not watch the Dungeons & Dragons movie with Chris Pine, you got to watch that Dungeons & Dragons. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Zoe Saldana, not Gerard Butler, Carl Urban. You're right. I mean, these are actors whose profiles have done nothing but go up since that time.
Although Chris Pine did direct The Pool Man, which is not getting good notices.
Yeah, maybe his touch as a director is not. Maybe he won't be directing Star Trek 4. But also, I think, like, to your point about they need to reel the budget down a bit. We got The Creator coming out, which is made for $80 million. But I also think they need to be a little bit more realistic, because you're right. When they came out and had expectations, it was going to do Transformers numbers. And look, I'm not looking to spark a Star Wars versus Star Trek debate here. I think most Star Trek fans of whatever generation can agree with what I'm going to say. Star Trek isn't Star Wars.
No.
It does not have the same fan base. It just doesn't have that same size. I think if any Paramount exec went into it thinking, this Star Trek movie is going to make $1.2 billion, then I think you were crazy to start.
Yeah.
That can't be your watermark for success in a movie like this. And if they can reel in that budget and keep that cast, they could be talking about something that could potentially be profitable for them if done right.
Dude, I agree. If Star Trek 09 was a $125 million movie, it would have been the most expensive Star Trek movie, and it would have been profitable.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.